Hi, and thank you so much for being here today. Welcome to the UC Davis Continuing and Professional Education information session for our Professional Coaching for Work and Life program. My name is Crystal, and I'm here on this information session with my colleague, Heather. We help to manage the coaching program here at UC Davis, and I am excited to share a little bit about the program with you. If you have questions about our program, you can contact our student services team anytime. They're available at the phone number here listed on the page. We also have two program directors that help to manage the coaching program. Their names are Carol Bennett. She's a PCC, a professional credentialed coach, and Michelle Payne. She's an MCC, a master credentialed coach, and we'll learn about those designations here in just a little bit. I'm also very excited to share with you that we have two guests today online with us. One is Lori Cozart. Lori is one of our instructors, and she is going to tell us a little bit about her class, Coaching Conversations. Hi, Lori. Thanks for being here.
Hi. Thanks for having me. Excited to share.
Wonderful. And a little confusing, but we're going to make it work. We have another Lori here who is an alumni of our program. As you can see, their names are spelled differently, but when we introduce them and talk about them, I'm going to have to be very clear. So Lori Roberts Smith is an alumni of our coaching program. She graduated just last year in November and has done so much with coaching since then. Hi, Lori. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Crystal, Heather, and Lori. It's nice to be here.
We're really excited to hear a little bit about your experience in the program and what you've done since. So we look forward to hearing from you in a little bit.
Excellent.
Thank you. All right, so before I launch into the information session, we do have an official agenda, kind of topics that we're definitely going to cover. We're committed to covering for you today. But we want to let you know that this is your information session. Really, we're here to give you some information about our program, but more than that, to answer your questions. So if at any time we're going through this information session and you have a question on your mind, please feel free to share it with us. We have a Q&A area. Heather, my colleague over here, will be monitoring it during the entire information session, and we'd love to hear from you. So if we say something that doesn't make sense or brings up a question in your mind, please feel free to just type it in and we'll communicate with you throughout the information session. We do have a designated time at the end of our information session with official Q&A, but we'd love to have a conversation with you throughout the session. So here's kind of an overview of our agenda and what we're planning on covering for you today. We'll talk a little bit about the International Coach Federation, tell you about our program schedule, talk a little bit about what coaching is and is not, a little bit of details on our program philosophy and the courses within the program, and then some additional benefits. And as I mentioned, we have an instructor here to tell you about her class and talk about it in a little more detail, and an alumni here to share her experience throughout the program and after the program with you. So got a lot on our agenda to cover. And as I mentioned, at the end, we do have a dedicated time for Q&A. So, all right. And one thing I didn't mention is that through our information session, we're going to have a couple polls, and we'd like to start the first one now. This is a time where we want to learn about you. So maybe you can tell us how you found out about the Professional Coaching for Life and Work certificate program. Oftentimes people find us because they're going through the International Coach Federation website looking for programs. You might have just done a general web search for coaching programs. You might be on the UC Davis Continuing and Professional Education mailing list and received it there, or a friend or colleague might have mentioned it to you, or even a UC Davis coaching alumni, or something we didn't mention. So we'll take a second and just have you respond and see what brought you to our program and have what brought you here. Let's take a look. All right, thanks, Heather. Cool. Well, it looks like some from general web search or friend or colleague, maybe one person from the ICF website, and majority of people, 40%, from our UC Davis mailing list. Wonderful, which means you're familiar with us and all of our other wonderful programs. Great. Well, whatever brought you to us, we're really happy that you're here today, and I can't wait to share a little bit about our program with you. To start, we want to let you know that because you are live online today, you're going to get a $100 coupon for our program. which is our greatest available discount for this program. So we will send you an email at the end of the session. It might be tomorrow morning, just thanking you for being here and giving you that discount code that you can use to get your $100 off coupon. So thank you for being here. I'm going to start just by telling you a little bit about coaching. You're likely here because you've heard something about coaching before, but ICF, the International Coach Federation, defines coaching as partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them and maximizes their personal and professional potential. And one thing that we definitely start with in our program, in our class that's Coaching Essentials, is really distinguishing what coaching is and what it is not. Oftentimes people get coaching confused with other careers such as consulting, therapy, mentoring, or counseling. And some of the unique things is really partnering with the client to listen to what the client really wants and is saying, and ask really great questions to help the client. Coaching assumes that the person, the client, knows what they want and how to get there, but they might not know, they might be stuck or have some barriers in their way from being able to figure out what their next steps are. So coaches are there with the client to help and guide them and listen and ask really powerful questions, thought-provoking questions to get the client to think about what next steps they would need to take to move forward. So again, this is something that you'll learn a lot about within our coaching program, but just to give you a slight overview. Another common question that we have is oftentimes people have lots of niches or specialties that they want to go into within coaching. And our program really focuses on the core competencies. So what we say, you can coach in any specific niche or specialty that you want. Our program gives you the foundation, and then you can build on the foundation to become a life coach and open your own coaching business. Maybe you want to be a health and wellness coach. Maybe you want to be an executive or leadership coach or coach internally within a company. So our program will give you the basic foundation and fundamentals to go into any niche or specialty of coaching that you desire. So our program is made up of 5 classes, and those classes are Coaching Essentials, which basically is kind of what is coaching and what it is not, and really learning a little bit about ICF, the International Coach Federation, which I'll talk more about in a little bit, and understanding the ethics around coaching. So how to be an ethical coach, and we'll walk through starting your practice by establishing yourself and your business as professional as possible, and then living as an ethical coach. Our core competencies class is really a deep dive into those fundamentals, or that foundation that I was talking about. So there are some core competencies from the ICF, International Coach Federation, that every coach kind of needs to know and be expert in to become a professional coach. And this class, we dive into each of those, some active listening, powerful questions, establishing trust and intimacy, getting good with direct communication. So this class is a really good time to start learning and practicing those competencies. Personal foundations is where you start really understanding your own core values and beliefs. And as you understand yourself better and your foundation, you can help with clients to help them understand their foundation. I would talk about coaching conversations, but we have our instructor here today, so I'm not going to say a lot about it, and I'm going to turn it over to Lori Kozart in just a minute so she can tell you about her class. And then Coach Mastery is the final class in our program, which really helps you to decide what do you want to do in coaching. It's really where you get to, now that you've learned these coaching skills, you've had a lot of practice, you get to think about how you want to walk through the world of coaching, make an action plan for yourself, and figure out your next steps in your path as a coach. I should also mention that intermixed within this program, we have demo days. So that is where you are coaching with your peer coaches in the classroom. So you get a lot of coaching practice in this program.
Crystal, before we move on, we've got one question about the classes. Are they interactive and discussion based?
Ooh, good question. Yeah, thank you for asking that. Our entire program is really experiential, and we really don't have classes where you're staring at PowerPoint and listening to lecture. Our instructors are expert coaches, but most of the class, all of the classes are incredibly experiential, practice-based, so you are coaching almost from the very beginning. From the first class, you will see demos from experienced coaches. Starting in the second class, before you even understand all the competencies, you'll be practicing them individually and then starting to coach with peer coaches. So it's very interactive, very experiential. Yeah. All right. And with that, I will move right over to Lori Cozart, one of our instructors for Coaching Conversations, who will tell us a little bit about what her class is like. Hi, Lori.
Hi, Crystal. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's so great to be here with all of you. I just wanted to share a little bit about what Coaching Conversations is. And by the time we get into Coaching Conversations, we're really starting to expand on all of the ICF competencies. So we start to build on the competencies to make sure that we're creating a framework for the client so that they have a very valuable coaching experience. In Coaching Conversations, as Crystal talked about, it is very experiential. We'll do some demonstration where I will demonstrate how to use some of the tools, how to build upon the competencies and make those conversations a bit richer. And then, of course, the students will go off into some practice where they can actually start to apply the things that we learn in Coaching Conversations directly into their coaching experience. We also look at, like I said, different tools, different methodologies that we can bring extra value to our clients with. And then we also look at how do we become, as coaches, more comfortable and confident and competent when we get into those conversations that are a little bit deeper. And what we coaches call that is, how do we coach around the who? So most of us are inclined to go directly to action when we haven't really explored what's holding us back from taking the action in the first place. So in Coaching Conversations, we allow the coaches to experiment with becoming uncomfortable with, or I should say comfortable with being uncomfortable. Because when we work with clients, it's, I believe, part of a coach's job to make people feel a little uncomfortable, to ask them questions that are beyond their stretch so that they can start to think about things a little bit differently. And in that, we're helping clients really achieve the transformational change that they want to achieve. And when you think about transformational change, the example I like to use is of a butterfly or of a caterpillar. Caterpillar starts out, it's going along in its life progression, and it decides one day that it's going to transform itself. And it actually cocoons itself off and liquefies itself. And in that chrysalis stage, then the butterfly starts to transform into something even better than it was before. And that's part of the coaching philosophy of Coaching Conversations. How do we ask specific, powerful questions? How do we get people to think deeper? How do we help our clients identify some of their limiting beliefs and some of the things that go on in their own minds that hold them back from actually achieving the goals that they want to reach? How do we really help them complete that transformational change that they're looking for? So this is a place where we explore, we dive deeper into tools, frameworks, and different methodologies, and we do that in a very experiential way.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lori. That sounds great. And I know that your class in particular has a lot of tools and techniques that people will get to use. So when you talk about experiential and hands-on learning, Your class is absolutely very interactive and engaging for students. So.
Thank you. Yes, I think so. We really get people involved in, like I said, expanding their knowledge around the competencies and putting those into action.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Well, if you have questions for Lori, she's going to stay online with us. So if you'd like to ask a question of the instructor, please feel free to think about what those are, and you can even load them up in our Q&A, and we will have Lori until the end of the session. So thank you, Lori.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. So moving past our individual classes and telling you a little bit about that structure, we'll look at the whole program structure so that you have an idea of when the classes are offered, the timing and dates that they're available. So our program is offered twice a year. We have it offered in twice a year in two different kind of date time formats to meet people's needs regarding availability. So we offer it once in what we call summer quarter. So that starts in August and runs through November, December. Both of them are a 5-month program, and the classes are about every other week. So the summer program, that's August to November, is a Tuesday, Thursday evening and Saturday program. So Tuesday, Thursday evenings from 6 to 9 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 to 5, about every other week for a 5-month period. We also offer the program in our winter quarter format that starts January, February, and runs through June. And that program is offered Fridays and Saturdays from 9 to 5. So sometimes people will choose a program because it's coming up and they're really motivated to start in the program and get coaching and start getting their hours so that they can become certified through ICF, the International Coach Federation, which we have on our agenda to talk about in a little bit. Other times people really want to take a program because of the availability that works best for them. So right now we're receiving applications for our summer quarter program, our Tuesday, Thursday evening, and Saturday offering. Our program is an all in-person program. That is one of the things that differentiates us from other coaching programs that are out there, is that you're getting hands-on in-person practice. You have live, real-world PCC and MCC, so professional credentialed coaches and master credentialed coaches in front of you, watching your coaching, giving you feedback, talking to you, answering questions. But it does mean that our program is located conveniently in our Midtown Sacramento location. So you do have to be able to commit to driving to our Sacramento classroom location for each of the class sessions. So here's an example of what our summer quarter schedule is going to look like that starts here in just a couple months, the one that we're receiving applications for right now. It starts, as you can see, August 6th, and it runs through December 14th. So that's about every other week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, get a week off, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, get a week off. And we have those 5 classes that I mentioned earlier, and then 2 demo days. So those 2 demo days are really exciting. You get to watch all of your colleagues, your cohort, your peers, practicing coaching, and then you yourself get to practice coaching in front of a group that gives you feedback around feed forward, as we call it, around what you're doing really great and how you can improve. And those demo days are incredibly valuable. Here's a sample of what our winter quarter application looks like. So started in January for this past one that we're in the middle of right now, and ended in June. We don't have our exact dates yet for our 2020 winter quarter coaching program, but it'll likely be around the same range, starting in January, ending in June. And it definitely will be the Friday, Saturday format from 9 to 5 every other week. If you are interested in the program, but you are only interested in the winter quarter program, feel free to let Heather know that you want to apply, and we can put you on our list and notify you once the winter quarter application becomes available. So again, we're collecting applications right now for our summer quarter program that starts in August.
Right. And just so that we had a couple questions about that, and so that everybody understands the process.
Yeah.
Everyone who registered for this webinar today will get follow-up emails from me. So you'll have my contact information, as well as some details about the program, and I can get you the schedules, because I know that some of you are concerned about the different dates and things like that. So, and our dates do change to work around holidays and that kind of thing. and that's why it's usually every other week. Sometimes that might change if there's a holiday or something like that. So don't fret. You'll be getting my contact information, and you can send me as many questions as you want, and I can get you any other follow-up information after the session that you might need.
Sounds great. Thank you, Heather. So our program, it's $83.25 is the cost of the program, and that is an all-inclusive price. So that includes your application fee, your course materials. One of the amazing benefits in our program is that we pair you with a mentor coach. So you have a PCC level professional credentialed coach through the ICF that is paired with you, that listens to some of your coaching recordings and gives you feed forward on what you're doing really well, where your strengths are, and what you need to work on. That's a really valuable piece. A lot of programs, coaching programs, do charge extra for that, and we include it within our program fee. We also pair you with a client or two if you want within our program. So we have a collection of people through UC Davis, our greater UC Davis networks, that we get that want free coaching. And we say, hey, we'll pair you with a coach in training. You get free coaching and they get some coaching practice. It's a really nice way to meet your first client without having to go out and sell yourself while you're practicing. And they know you're practicing, and you know you're learning new things every time you want to do a coaching session with them. So it's a really great partnership. We also, the $83.25 includes parking passes and lunches. So it really, there aren't other fees that we'll be asking you for within the program. That $83.25 is really all inclusive for our coaching program. And at the end of it, you get a UC Davis coaching certificate. So if you are looking to apply soon and you're interested in our summer quarter coaching program, our application deadline is June 3rd. You can apply before that and get your application in the queue, but the deadline to apply is June 3rd. So that's a date to kind of keep on your radar. And as Heather said, she'll be sending out follow-up information, and that's one of the pieces that will be in our follow-up. So you don't have to write it down visibly. So we're going to launch right into our next poll, and I'd like to know a little bit about you and why you're exploring this program. Maybe you are interested in becoming a life coach. You want to start your own business, either a second career or a continued career of what you're doing right now. You might be coaching currently and looking to get credentials. A lot of people come to us as experienced coaches that now want a credential or a certificate. You might be coaching within your organization. They call this an internal coach. And you'd like to add the coaching certificate to your resume or get into more coaching within a current job. Often people in HR or supervisors coach within their organizations. And you can just be interested generally in coaching. A lot of people come to us from just a general interest perspective. Wow, 58% of you are interested in becoming life coaches. Awesome, great, wonderful. Well, there are lots of different ways that you can use coaching, and being a life coach is one of them. Thank you for sharing. All right, so I keep promising that I'll talk a little bit about ICF, which is the International Coach Federation. And the reason why it's important that I talk about it is, one, because it's the only globally recognized certifying body. They say it's the gold standard in coaching. And also, we are an accredited coach training program, an ACTP, through the International Coach Federation, which is known as ICF. That's a lot of acronyms and the words. What that means is that as you go through our program, you are also meeting many or most of the requirements to become an ICF certified coach. So there's a difference between a UC Davis certificate and an ICF certification. But you can be working towards both of them in our program at the same time. So through ICF, International Coach Federation, you need a certain amount of hours to become a coach, an ICF credentialed coach. We provide 150 hours, which is more than you need through ICF for your coach training. That's why I don't think I mentioned, in our program, you can only miss 10% of our program and still pass, and that's because we have to have so many coach training hours that we're committing that our program transfers over to ICF. Also, having a mentor coach evaluate you is part of the requirements from ICF to become credentialed through them. And some clients, you need a certain amount of hours. So I have a grid in a second that I'll show you. I'll just go over the 3 designations. There are 3 designations of ICF coaches. There are ACCs, Associate Certified Coaches, and I realize I've been calling them credentialed coaches, but they're Associate Certified Coaches, PCC, Professional Certified Coaches, and MCC, Master Certified Coaches. And so only 1% of coaches globally are MCCs. Most people, when they leave our program, become ACCs, and then you can move into being a PCC if you desire. So one thing that's good to mention is if you don't have a desire to become an ICF certified coach, you absolutely don't have to. It's optional, and there are a few additional steps, which I'll talk about in a second, after our program. If you're interested in pursuing ICF certification, you can certainly go through our program and get an amazing UC Davis coaching certificate, and that can be your whole goal. But many people in our program also want to get their ICF credential. And so this is the path, if you're interested in that, to get there. As you can see on the grid in front of you, the first row in blue is an ACC requirement grid. You need to go through an accredited coach training program. That's us, and you complete all those requirements. Successful completion of the certification requirements with an ACTP. So check, we give you all that. Work with a mentor coach, so check, our program fulfills all the requirements for that. Coaching experience, you will be paired with 1 or maybe 2 coaches, clients that you will coach pro bono, so free of charge. So you'll notice you need 100 hours of coaching to become an ACC coach. 75 of those must be paid hours. So the pro bono coaching, practice coaching that you do in our program can count towards the 25 unpaid hours that you can have for ICF certification, but you will have to continue to get some paid coaching hours outside of our program likely. You can start counting all coaching hours as soon as our program starts. So maybe you're a current coach or you're coaching internally within your organization. The moment our coaching program starts, you can start counting hours towards ICF certification, but most of the time it takes coaches a little bit of time after our program to complete those hours. And most people will get their if they're pursuing ICF certification after our program, they'll get their ACC certification, and then they'll keep working on their hours. You can probably see that the only difference between ACC and PCC is the number of hours that you need to coach. So 500 hours can take a little bit longer. So usually people will start with ACC. Once they get 500 hours of coaching, they'll move up to PCC, and so on and so forth. The 2 reference letters from qualified coaches you can easily get within our program. You'll meet a whole network of coaches as you're in our program. And then there is an exam that you need to take for ICF, and it is basically exactly what our program teaches. Every single alumni I've talked to has said that our program has prepared them extremely well to take that exam, and that they have not had a problem passing it. So our program does teach to that test and helps you to prepare for that. And there is a fee. So there is an additional fee to become an ICF coach, and then to renew your certification. So as I said, that's an optional pathway for people who want to become coaches. Were there any questions around there, Heather?
No questions about ICF. I think you did a good job. If anybody comes up with one, I'll let you know.
Okay. So just to kind of wrap up on that, our program is an all-inclusive program. It's an accredited coach training program through ICF. Within our program, you're going to get mentor coaching, a personal mentor that is paired with you. You will get clients that are paired with you that you can coach in the program as you're practicing your coaching. And you'll get 150 hours of coach training, which is more than you need for the ICF certification if you're interested in pursuing that. All right, with that, I'm going to launch into another poll. One of our coaching instructors often says, coaches have coaches. And so I'm just wondering, have you ever had a coach? Please let us know through this poll. Maybe you have in the past, or you're currently working with a coach, or you don't have a coach or have never had a coach, but you would like the experience of being coached. We'd love to hear from you.
And if that's the case, then sometimes we can get you paired up with students so that you can see what the experience is like as well.
Yeah, if you want the experience of being coached and you're not looking to start in this summer quarter program that's starting in August, maybe you're just gathering information now for future, or you're looking to start in the winter, you could be one of those clients that's paired with our student coaches, so you can get to know someone that's in the program and see what it's like to be coached. Wonderful. Wow, 67% of you have had a coach, or are, so 70% of you either had a coach or are working with a coach currently. That's amazing. I think that's the highest ratio I've ever seen. Yeah. So fantastic.
Good on it.
And then the other percentage is no, but I'd love to have the experience of being coached. So yeah, if anyone on this information session is interested in being paired with a student coach in our upcoming program, feel free to let Heather know. As she said, she's going to email you some information, so you'll have her contact information. We'd love for you to have that experience. Perfect. All right, so one thing that's really special about our program is, since our program is cohort-based, you start and stop with the same people, you build really strong relationships with the people in your cohort. In addition, we have opportunities for you to meet other cohorts that have gone through the programs, which we lovingly refer to as our alumni. So we have an annual alumni event every year that we host and bring everyone together. We also have a closed online forum, online group, where alumni can connect with each other, share resources, ask questions, and they really do participate in it. It's a very active alumni group. So here's a picture here of a couple of those cohorts, and I'm very excited to have one of those alumni here today. Lori Roberts Smith, as I mentioned earlier, took our program in, last summer. So around this time, Lori, you were thinking about joining the program and kind of getting ready for the program. Can you believe it?
No, my gosh, no, it's gone quickly.
Yeah. And then she just finished the program in November, but I think you're all going to be incredibly impressed with the things that she has done since the program in just a short amount of months. But Lori, we're really excited to have you here today. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here too. You guys were a purposeful choice after a lot of research, so I'm happy to share what I've learned.
Wonderful. Well, on that note, maybe you could tell us a little bit about what led you to coaching.
Sure. For me, it was a mix of things, actually. I am a special needs mom and found that in my life, coaching and learning how the brain works, how learning occurs, and I also have a background in education, has always been a piece that's talked to me. I'm also a nuclear physicist and found that in my work, many people I worked with could not speak to management. Management couldn't speak to my team. And that the idea of helping people close those gaps to be seen and heard and find their way through questions and peacemaking just became a skill that I realized I had, and one that was important to me to develop. People finding their full potential for success was just vitally important. Special needs, neurotypical, or anywhere, organizations, personal. So it became just a real sacred journey for me.
Awesome. Is there anything in your research that stood out about our program, or something that you were looking for that helped you to identify our program as what might meet your needs?
Sure. I'll warn everybody that's listening, I'm a complete nerd, and you don't have to do this, but I actually went through every program on the ICF website, made an Excel spreadsheet, oh my gosh, I will admit it, for the things that seemed important to me. And some of those things were, it eventually got to, it was important to me to have it at a university, the drive for academic excellence, to know that you would be working towards that, to keep accreditation for both the school and the ICF was hugely important to me. But also a diverse cohort speaks to who I am as a person, and the experience, knowing that I would have a broad experience leaving there, the level of coaches that we were going to have, the mentor coaching being provided, and the pairing with clients. So I knew that I could have that experience while I was present, because in my case, I was coming a long way when I chose you guys. And that it was all in one package. I didn't have to go find those extra pieces myself and try to calculate the cost and make it happen. It was one package.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing that. We really appreciate it. So now that we know how you kind of found why you were looking, how you found coaching and how you found our program, maybe you can tell us a little bit about your experience within the program.
Sure. Well, I live in Washington, D.C., or thereabouts. So one of the interesting things was commuting every other week to be there a week in Sacramento and a week home. That was an adventure and a commitment both at the same time with a lot of support. I also found that the response rate, both during my investigative time, because I had a lot of questions, and while I was there, the support level was just unmatched. Both Crystal and Heather and Diane Carr in the VA office, everyone was highly responsive. So my overall experience was one that really exceeded even what I set out searching for. The relationships I built with my cohort are beyond anything that I can explain, and the opportunity to do your own work, your personal growth besides your professional growth in this program. Wow, you know, I don't usually much. It's this pause of, I'm not even certain the words to say the value that adds to your life. The client pairing was beyond an ideal match and actually has led to my first corporate contracts. I still have a relationship with that person and lots of referrals, and feel very fortunate that I had both my interests and their interests very much taken to heart while I had the opportunity to pick up clients while I was there, which I did. And again, just the level of instruction, the coaching we received, and the number of hours we coached each other just far exceeded what I was looking for, and is part of the reason I highly recommend you guys.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. That makes me really happy. And I didn't even know about your client leading to a corporate contract for your company. How exciting. It really says a lot about you too, Lori, as a person. You're an amazing person, an amazing coach. So I'm glad that came out of that. Sounds like there was a lot of the program that really aligned with what you were looking for, and as you said, kind of exceeded your expectations. If I were to ask you if there was one part of the program that was either your favorite part or maybe most impactful part of the program for you, what would you say that was?
Probably my favorite part of the program was the diversity within my cohort and the way in which that became the blessing I was looking for. People from different races, economic backgrounds, education levels, professional status, all the things where they were born in the world, all the things that so often we find might be divisive other places, were actually the beauty and the cohesion of ours, and the opportunity to see that coaching works everywhere in every situation as long as the client shows up coachable. And the coach will check their biases and be aware of them. That the depth of relationship and the depth and the far-reaching strides that clients can make are just unparalleled from other sources of support in my experience.
Well, you've talked a lot about, you know, the cohort and kind of the impact that made and the connections that you formed. I'm just curious, kind of, if you have any other thoughts about what that cohort experience was like for you.
Honestly, I've even made a trip back to Sacramento. I didn't miss that alumni event as much to see you guys and connect with the other cohorts as it was to connect with mine. For me, it was an opportunity to expand what I consider family, as hokey as that may sound. The opportunity for me to connect on such an intimate and personal level with people, while they also had the opportunity to do so with me. I do a lot of work around how to build trust, both in personal relationships and in organizations. And really it comes down to being vulnerable and being empathetic. And we definitely had ample opportunity in this course to coach each other, to experience what that looks like, not telling each other what to do, and holding each other in complete and total respect. And in my experience, that was held across the board. It was a safe space, and it continues to be. I continue to barter coach with some of my peers. I'm in contact with just about every single one of them still, and feel like it gives me a bit of my own mastermind group going forward. And we've all been mentoring each other through the trips and turns of starting your own business. I found that along with our mentor coaches and the ability to reach back to you guys and ask questions, that it was a much richer pool than I even expected it to be. With real conversations around the differences that I also think we don't always see in the world in a way that's so respectful. we all got to learn.
Oh, wonderful. I'm wondering, now that you're done with the coaching program and you have your certificate, how have you been able to use the skills that you've learned kind of in your life and in your practice, what you're doing?
Sure. Well, I'm having a lot of fun, first of all. I made the decision to leave my career as I started the program, which was a bit scary and exciting at the same time, to just go in and say, I'm going to commit all the way. That's not a requirement, but it's what I did. In doing so, I set up some goals for myself that while I was there, I would find enough clients to fund my education. And I can say that I did that while I was in Sacramento. And I had set up a fairly lofty goal to leave there with my 100 hours finished. I fell short by 17 hours and was very quickly able to close that gap by January. Unlike a lot of people, I did not jump on my accreditation, not because it doesn't hold value to me, but I recognize that hopefully by June, originally I said May, I'll say June now, I would have my 500 hours completed. Currently I'm over 400. I've started my own business. I do both corporate and personal coaching, really more on the professional end with mid and senior leaders to help them become happier, healthier, and more productive. I'm finding my work is so rewarding. The relationship piece of that is beautiful. And the added bonus as a coach is in everything that you allow your clients to see in themselves, in the ways that you step in and you help them learn and stretch, be uncomfortable, as Laurie said, and make the next move. The gift to you is in watching that learning. It inspires your own continually. And as coaches, we're always learning and finding new resources and sharing between each other. So I find that it feeds my constant learn, my need for growth. It feeds my need for connection and my values of holding people in the highest level of respects and helping them respect and helping them do that for themselves, even beyond ways that they've ever considered. So I'm finding a lot of joy in it, a lot of challenge in it, and a good bit of success that I'm enjoying, quite frankly.
Well, 400 hours shows an incredible commitment. So that's amazing. I hope you've had time to celebrate the amount of clients and coaching hours that you've done in this short amount of time since our coaching program. So it sounds like you are pursuing ICF certification though?
Oh, definitely. I just chose to hold off until I had my 500 hours. I graduated at a level that would allow me to go in and apply for the PCC, and simply made the choice not to stop and do the paperwork 2 weeks after graduating and just keep rolling. The gift in being a coach and having my own business doing it is with some family things that came up and some opportunities for travel and other growth opportunities, to be able to flex my schedule and know that I am the person at the end of the day responsible for my business. It's allowed me some flexibility. So rather than being so hard-headed in my goal achieving, which I can do, I've enjoyed some time off, a trip to Hawaii, some opportunity to meet some family needs. And so, wow, instead of the 1st of May, I should hit my 500 hours and send my application in the 1st of June.
Awesome.
That's fantastic. That's a great example of, we had somebody with a question that, you know, while the program does prepare you for certification, can someone come out of the program and begin a career in coaching? And Lori, I think you're the perfect example of, you have not done the ICF process yet, but you already have a glowing business just with the ECBNS certificate behind you. So that's a great example of what the program could do for someone.
Yeah, and the added power of having it behind you. For me, there's not a question that as soon as I hit that the day the 500th is done, I will be sending that in, taking my exam, and being ready to celebrate that because of all the great learning we have.
Definitely.
Yeah. Are there any other questions for Lori and the two?
I do. I have a couple questions.
Okay.
Let's see. And some of them about food, because we all love food.
Food. Okay. Let's hear it.
So from your perspective, are there any good places to stop for food on your way to class? Did you guys ever go out for food with each other and stuff like that?
Absolutely. So I stayed in the center of town in a hotel every other week when I came, and was able to walk to class and pass pretty much every kind of restaurant that you want to eat at And we did start trading between different restaurants. Some of us met one-on-one to start barter coaching and even shared a meal before or after, and then often as a group for learning, for opportunities. We picked a fun day once in a while to explore different things in small groups and in a big group. So you will not go hungry, with lots of opportunity, even with diet restrictions.
That's fun. And then there was a question about sort of the graduation or ceremony or event. What was it like finishing the program and the wrap up?
For me?
Yeah.
Sure. It was a mixed bag of emotions, honestly. I was excited because it was a commitment to travel back and forth, even though that had its own stories and fun with it. I was excited to be home full time again, though I was mourning that I had a great set of friends. I felt like Sacramento had become a home for me in so many ways, in and out of the program, the people I met there, and the opportunities I had to do other things while I was there. The ceremony itself is typically a closed situations where you get to share with your peers and with your teachers who are able to come back and celebrate with you and have a great meal. In our cohort, we had the opportunity to arrange with the hotel. A friend of mine and I stayed in to get us all together afterwards, where people brought their family. And in my case, my sweetheart flew in the night before and surprised me and showed up and was there from DC to share with me. It's a beautiful thing to see how far you come from the beginning, where we all think we were masters when we started, and to celebrate the progress that we've all made in ourselves and seen in each other and helped to be a part of.
That's wonderful. They keep coming, so I've got another question. So Lori, are you finding or focusing most of your clients in the corporate arena or the life coaching arena?
Interestingly enough, I'm fairly well split, to be honest. What I have found is I meet a lot of individuals, and in just a natural conversation with the excitement of what I do, I extend an opportunity to people who have not had coaching, even not trying to grow my business. If you have not experienced coaching and you're interested, I will offer a free session in a heartbeat and encourage you to go find a coach that fits well if I'm not that going forward. And I have found that just in the excitement of what I do, in listening to other people's needs, the individuals become my clients. And nearly 60% or so, they've been taking me back to their businesses, and that has grown my corporate side for me. I've met a couple of CEOs, interesting enough, in my flights back and forth to Sacramento, who've become my clients, and now I do a bit of work for their companies as well. So I'm about 50-50. I would say that in demographics, about 80% of my individual clients happen to be women in mid to senior level management positions. I have moms looking for a way to go back to work. And then I have a few situations where I work with entire teams and leaders of companies trying to figure out how to make differences all the way through. So either is possible.
Yeah, wow.
So that pretty well summarizes how you find your clients. It's sort of who you interact with and word of mouth. Is that correct?
Yeah, mostly. For me, that's been the case. I also have started attending some networking events and gotten comfortable as clients basically graduate out of working for me when we've met their goals, asking if I get glowing accolades, which I'm happy to say at this point. Most people have been great fits and we've found great work together. Most people say they want to come back when they have something else they want to work on. I invite that, and I have a way that I do an out interview to find out where the growth was, what they'd be looking for, and what situations they would seek coaching again, and in what situations they would recommend it. And I have found that it naturally leads to them bringing people forward.
Awesome. And in closing with you, Lori, I know you're going to stay for our Q&A here in just a second, but if you could give a piece of advice to someone considering this coaching program, what would it be?
One, don't overthink it. If your gut says that coaching's for you, do it. Regardless of whether you start a business or not, what you gain will change your life. It'll impact your families and your workspace and every place that you hold dear. And two, get in and get messy early. start scheduling, and know that you can start coaching and not be afraid, because you will be supported in this program both by your cohort and by the Lori Cozarts and the Michelle Paynes and the Jens and the Carols and I guess everybody along the way. There is no reason not to come out of this feeling confident and assured that you're going to be successful. Your homework.
Well, wonderful. Thank you. And as I mentioned, both Lori's are hanging out so we can get to a Q&A. And we have a few more pieces of our information session with a final poll. So we'll launch it to our last poll right now. And we just want to know, are you local to the Sacramento area? You might be kind of within a 10-mile radius, 50-mile radius. We have a large collection of people that will drive to our program from the Bay Area and back, or another region of California that is drivable. Some people from Southern California have frequented our program, and we have people who come from out of state and out of country, as Lori did. So let's see here. Wow, it looks like almost all of you are within a 50-mile radius or the Bay Area. So great, wonderful. We'd love to have you in our program. So here's a few details on how to apply for our program. This, like I said earlier, the summer quarter program is the one that we have an application open for now. The application deadline is June 3rd, and applicants will be notified by June 14th if they are accepted into the program or what your status is in the program. If you're interested in the winter quarter program, our application online won't open until September 1st once we have selected and enrolled all of the applicants into the summer program. So there's a little bit of a wait, but you can start thinking about our application now, even if you're looking up, no matter which program you're looking for. The application process is fairly easy. You'll, create a profile online, and like to just mention, not to skip over pieces of that original profile. When you're setting up your profile, through your name, your occupation, it kind of asks you some questions about your demographics. That feeds into your application. So please make sure you take time to fill it out whole and completely. That'll complete your application. And then we have some 4 simple questions that you'll answer. If you're looking at winter quarter, Heather can send you those questions now in an email so that you can start thinking about them and writing out your answers. And once the application goes online, it's easy for you to submit it. The questions are kind of just asking you about short and long-term objectives, past experiences, why you want to pursue coaching, and to give an example of a time when you received feedback that impacted your thinking. What we usually say on these questions is what is really important is that you're telling your story. You're trying to get our program directors to connect with you so that they know that you're a right fit for the program. Some people have questions about how do I answer these, and I usually we have a prompt on our website that says 3 to 500 questions 3 to 500 word suggestion. What I usually say is if you just tell your story, you're going to be fine. Sometimes we'll have people that answer with like new word sentences. That is not a good way to get accepted into the program. I mean, what are your short and long-term objectives if you write to get a certificate? I wouldn't do that. I would really tell your story. What are your short and long-term professional objectives? Why do you want to join the coaching program? What in your past has contributed to your objectives that you have now? So just tell your story and you will be good. All right. Kind of in closing, some administrative details. We do not offer financial aid like a traditional four-year institution, but we do have someone in our student services office. Her name is Diane Carr, and Lori Smith mentioned her earlier. She can help students to get a student loan if you need to take out a loan to pay for the program. She works with our VA students, so if you're a veteran or if you're working with any specialty funding, state, county, federal funding, she would be the right person to talk to about how to use that for our program. In addition, our program does offer a payment plan. In fact, the coaching program is the only program here in continuing education that offers a payment plan. So if you're wondering how that breaks down and what that looks like, Heather can answer those questions for you through email at a later date. And just for being on this information session, as I said earlier, you'll get a $100 information session discount. Lastly, if you've ever thought about a master's degree, our program has a direct articulation agreement to University of the Pacific's Master's in Organizational Learning and Effectiveness. So you can go through our program, get our certificate, take 7 additional classes and a capstone, and have both our certificate and a master's degree. And possibly, if you want to go for it, an ICF certification. So wow, if you're really motivated, there are lots of options for you to grow and learn and get education. And again, Heather can help answer any questions that you might have about that articulation agreement for you through email after. We have a few minutes left in our information session, and I promised you a time for Q&A, but I just want to thank everyone here for really engaging with us in Q&A throughout the whole session. So
You guys have been great. This is excellent.
really amazing. If you have any questions that you want to make sure and get answered either by our instructor, our alumni, or administrative staff, this is that moment to go ahead and type it in the Q&A. We want to make sure you don't leave with outstanding questions. Heather, do we have anything in our queue?
We sure do. So
right.
I think this is a good one for Lori Cozart. Do many people come to the program with psychology or counseling background? If so, is it helpful, or does it actually create confusion with having to differentiate the focus?
That's a really great question. Many psychologists will come into the program because what we find is that it's a really great match with somebody who has a certification in psychology. And what I mean by that is psychologists or therapists are able to work with clients around some of the past issues that are holding them back. And at the same time, they can use their coaching skills in order to be able to move the client forward, which is really a great meshing of the two things. And when we go through the coach certification program, in the core of coaching, people will learn about what is the difference between therapy and coaching, and how might a therapist or a psychologist use coaching in order to be able to even further help their clients. So again, a really great question.
Excellent. And then this might be one for some multiple perspectives, but I have a question. What would you say are the qualities of a great coach or life coach? Crystal, who do you think we should go to?
Oh gosh.
Throwing it to you.
I mean, qualities of a great coach, from my perspective, in getting to know an amazing group of alumni, is that it's not a one-size-fits-all. People have different strengths and different abilities, and really, that's how you kind of understand your fit and connection with clients. So one coach might be really introspective and quiet and thoughtful, and someone else might be really outgoing and exuberant and kind of fast-paced. And you'll find clients that connect with all different types of coaches. So I haven't really seen one-size-fits-all coaches. And I love that. I love getting to know the differences of all the different coaches and how they're using coaching in all different areas of what they're doing. But Lori, feel free to weigh in.
Well,
yeah, there we go.
Go ahead. Well, from my perspective, what you said, Crystal, is really important because and I'm going to give you my 2 favorite words, and that is, it depends. And it relays upon what it was that you were saying, right? Because there's going to be different personalities, different thought processes that fit with different types of people. So there is a need for all types of coaches and all types of personalities in coaching. I would say if there was one thing that I would make a suggestion around, one of the qualities that makes a really great coach is an incessant curiosity. Really be able to learn from others, ask questions from a sheer place of curiosity where there's no judgment involved, but you're just curious about, what does that mean? What does that look like? And I think that is where all of us have a really great history of doing this, because most of us were 5 years old at one point. And 5-year-olds, we know, come to the table with a huge amount of curiosity, constantly asking questions. And that's really what I would bring into this coaching process, is just a real sense of curiosity and finding out more.
Lori Smith, do you have anything to add?
Yes, one, I'm going to laugh at the "it depends." I have missed that, so thank you. Probably the only thing I would add to the incessant curiosity would be respect and integrity. The opportunity to witness this much of a human being is such an honor. So if you're a person of integrity and can hold that and keep that private, because of course there's confidentiality there, and the utmost respect for another human being's outlook and where they want to go, it balances out and lets you just go into the curiosity mode and hold them in high esteem all the way through it. It's a gift.
Yeah, great point.
Awesome. And I think we have time for one more question. Heather, is there one more question in the queue?
I do. I've got one here. Question is, how old is the program?
Oh, wow. Great question. Well, the program started in 2010, and can you believe it is almost 2020? So our program is almost 10 years old, and we offer it twice a year. It didn't start out being offered as twice a year. So I think in total, we've probably had about 15 to 18 cohorts run through over the years. Yeah, so.
Yep. And they're usually only about between 20 and 30 people, not too big.
Right.
It's small.
We intentionally keep the cohort small so that it's a really nice, intimate experience in the classroom, and you get lots of one-on-one attention from the instructors and practice coaching. Lots of practice.
Lots of practice.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's all I have for my end.
All right, we want to make sure we end you on time. We committed to an hour, and it has been an hour. Man, it went by fast for me. I hope it did for you guys too. Thank you, everyone, for being online with us. We are so grateful that you're considering our program. Both Heather and I'd be happy to talk to you one-on-one, further details about any questions you might have. Special thank you to Lori Ozart for being here to talk about your class, and Lori Smith for being here to talk about your experience in the program as an alumni. We are just incredibly grateful for both of you and your partnership in this session. And we hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thank you so much, and we hope to see you in class.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.